Hi, in this video we're going to cover how we can switch out sub-level streaming using Erizos Studio. This will allow us to separate our elements into different levels. So I have an empty project over here. I'm just going to go ahead and start by setting up our layers, which can be controlled by Erizos Studio. So let's go ahead and add an empty actor. Let's just call this layers. And other components, I'm going to search for control layer, and I'm going to add another one because in this example I'm going to have two different elements, but you'd add a control layer for every element that you have in your scene. So I'm just going to name this layer sphere and add another layer. Well, just rename it to layer cube. Okay. Let's start with setting up the layer sphere. Control ID is going to be 01. The title, let's name this sphere. And in the cube, the ID will be 02. And let's call this cube. Okay. So now we have this. We can now go ahead and add our sublevels to our project. So from window, let's add the levels. Open the levels window. Okay, so I have it here, docked into my UI. So let's just make sure that my first project here is saved. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this. Let's create a new folder. This will be levels, and this will be my main level. Okay. So there I have my main level. Now in the levels window, I'm going to hit create new, select the default template, and let's name this sphere. And I'm going to do the same again, select the default and add cube, name this one cube. Okay, so now I have three levels. I have my main level. This will be the level that Erizos Studio will load, and then it's going to use the control layers to load the sphere and the cube sub-levels. Okay, just an important thing to notice is when you're working on your project here, make sure you have the correct level selected. So whatever's highlighted in blue is what you're currently working on. So I want to work in the persistent level. Okay, so let's go ahead actually and jump back into our cube and add a cube so we can see something. Let's place this over here and jump into our sphere and add a sphere. Okay, so now my levels, I have this. If I hide these, I have my cube and I have my sphere. Okay, so let's go ahead and file save all. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is set up our animations, our level sequences, which will then trigger the sub levels. So I'm going to create a new folder and name the sequences. Let's make sure sequences, and inside here let's go ahead and create a new level sequence, and in total I'm going to have 4 level sequences: one for the in animation of the sphere, one for the in animation of the cube, one for the out animation for the sphere, and one for the out animation of the cube. So let's go ahead and name this sphere in, and just so that I have something here, I'm going to take my empty actor which we created before the layers and add that, and inside the actor here I'm going to click on the add track and then select event and trigger. Just make sure you do it from this section and not from the event track over here. Okay, and I'm just going to go to the second frame here and add a keyframe. And then I'm going to double click on the keyframe to bring up the blueprint editor. And I'm going to right click here and search for load stream level, and I'm going to select the by name option. And let's go ahead and hook this one up to here, and the level name, so this is our sphere animation, so the name of the level here will be sphere. Okay, and let's just make visible after load. Make sure we tick that box. Okay, we can go ahead and compile and save this and close it out. Okay, now in my layers actor, I'm going to select the sphere control, and I'm going to drag my animation into the in sequence. Okay, I'm going to make a copy. I'm going to duplicate this sequence. Let's just rename it to cube. Let's go ahead and open it up, and it's going to do exactly the same, except here instead of sphere, we're going to load the layer named cube. Compile, save. And like we did before, I'm going to go to the cube layer and drag this into the in sequence component. Let's go ahead and set up the out animation. So let's just duplicate one of these. And the out animation, the blueprint is going to be slightly different, and I'm going to show you in a moment. So again, I'm just going to double click on the keyframe here, and I'm going to remove this node. Okay, so what we need to do in the node here is we need to unload our sub-level. So we're taking it out, and we have to unload it from the system. Otherwise, when you take the layer in again from Erizos Studio and it's already loaded, you won't see anything change. So right click and search for unload stream level. Let's drag it in there. And this is my sphere. Compile, save. And let's duplicate this. Rename it to cube. So go ahead, open it up. Change the level name to cube, compile, save. Now inside our layer sphere control over here, I'm going to turn on the out sequence, and I'm going to drag that into there. And the same as the layer, the cube layer, turn on the out sequence and drag the out cube into there. Let's do file, save all. And let's go ahead and hit play. So let's just move our camera. So you can see right now that our level here is empty. I have another machine set up, and I'm going to VLC into it running Erizos Studio. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete what I have earlier. Show templates. This is my project over here. You can see my 3 layers. I have the cube, the main, and the sphere. I'm going to load the main level and just give it a second to load up. Okay, and now if we open this up, we can see we have our sphere and we have our cube. So double click each of those to add it to our playlist. So here we have our sphere. I'm going to hit take in, and you can see on our program here the cube went in, hit take out, and it got removed, take in on the cube, and take out. So that shows you how we can control sub-level streaming using Erizos Studio.